In our next segment, we kind of do some research and ask ourselves some questions. Because I had this week, one of them wasn't really actually a question; it was more something I saw in the news last night, and that was that. And I've had this conversation with my sweetheart about working out, and this belief that weight training will make women bulk up, and a lot of women won't do weight training because they're afraid that they'll look all bulky. And I used to joke and say, like, well, it doesn't matter, because would you rather be out of shape or would you rather be, like, in shape? And even if you kind of look bulky, you're still in shape, right? And it turns out, like, I was wrong there, but that belief is also wrong, because it's genetically impossible for women to get bulky. So it makes you wonder, like, well, maybe it's the women, the ones you see that are bulky are probably, doing something to make that happen. But for most women, you actually don't bulk up by doing weight training. You actually strengthen your bones, and there's a lot more benefits to it than people realize. So if you're a woman, go out and hit the weights with your comrades. So yeah, an article on Reuters. I mean, I heard it on Fox 31, which is our local news program, and I found an article from Reuters in India that kind of, I think, is where they got it from. It talks all about that. So if you're looking it up, Google Reuters and women working out with weights. I think I was curious about was my sister.
I hear that a lot too. I hear that.
I apologize for the lag there.
Go ahead.
So far in the future. But you go ahead, Andy. I want to hear what you want to say about it.
No, I hear that a lot too. I hear that a lot of women are afraid to work out because they're afraid to bulk up and all that stuff, so they just do cardio. And then you hear from all these exercise program and DVDs saying that if you have the muscle, it actually helps with the metabolism, and you actually burn fat a lot faster than if you just do cardio. So there you go. Yeah.
And the bone strengthening thing is such a plus, especially for women, because later in life I know that they have a lot of bone breakdown issues. So one of the other thing I was very curious about was my sister for my birthday got me these Quick Stick electrolyte replacement mixes, and I was like, cool, I have no idea what this is, but sweet. And then today I actually tried one. It's very good, but I didn't know what it was. Like, I didn't know how it helped me, and I worked out, and I still kind of actually not sure if it's really good for, specifically aimed towards working out. When I was looking up online, it does a good thing where it does help keep you hydrated, which is great for working out. It does help with your heart, but its target audience is actually towards workers, like industrial workers, and it's meant for stress. And I can see where that could probably be a good thing for working out, but it's kind of interesting that it doesn't have any carbs in it. Luckily, it doesn't have any sugar, so that's another plus for working out with it. But I think it's not exactly geared for working out. But I took it today. It was pretty tasty. I'll keep taking them and see if they keep me hydrated. Actually, it does taste good. It has 0 calories, so it means it has some sort of artificial sugar in there. But which probably, I mean, hopefully it's not aspartame. I mean, like, I don't drink that much. I don't drink diet soda at all, so at least that's down to a certain amount. But I don't know. It tasted good, I guess, in short.
Is that when I'm at the gym and I'm on the treadmill or elliptical next to someone else, I notice that I sweat a lot more than them. And I'm just wondering, do some people sweat more than other people? So I looked it up. I kind of checked out fitsugar.com, WebMD, and I found out that, sweating depends on your gender, your genetics, your age, your fitness level, and your environment. And I also learned that humans have between 2 and 4 million sweat glands. So the more sweat gland you have, the more you sweat. The average person have about 2.6 million sweat gland. So that's interesting to know. And here's another thing. Last time when I was working out at the gym, I was working out with a female friend, and she barely sweat at all while I was drenched from just my neck to my waist. My entire shirt was wet, and she just, nothing happened to her. She was completely dry. And when I was looking up online, they kind of mentioned that women do sweat less than men because of the different way that they have to release the heat out of their body. Another thing is, if you're sweating a lot, I read that they say you should avoid coffee, tea, alcoholic drinks, spicy food, because all of those things stimulate the production of sweat. And I was also wondering, do heavier people sweat more than just regular fit people? And they say yes, you do, because we have an insulation of fat around us, which keeps our core temperature much hotter. And basically, sweating is just to balance our temperature. So when we're too hot, our sweat gland actually produces sweat on our skin, and as the skin evaporates, it takes away heat away from our body too, and that's the reason why we sweat. And they also said that fitter people sweat more efficiently. So if you work out a lot and you're already in that routine of sweating and stuff like that, normally you will start sweating at the beginning when you're just barely working out, when your body is at a cooler temperature, because they're more efficient. They don't sweat all at one time, they sweat throughout the entire workout. And here's another thing that I found. I came across this here on Washington Post, and they say, why does my workout seem to get harder the more I sweat? And they say it's because your sweat gets its liquid from the blood. So as it gets more liquid from the blood becomes thicker, and it makes it harder for the heart to pump your blood, which makes everything much harder. So that's why we get more tired as we work out longer. Yep.
Man, I'm a little screwed there because I'm overweight. I do work out quite a bit, so I guess I'm efficient at least. I do eat a lot of spicy food. You can ask my wife. She'll vouch for that. I put spice on everything, and I do drink a lot of coffee. So that might be why I'm pretty wet every time I work out.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe I'm not even working out at all. Maybe I'm just showing up at the gym, and just the presence of being there and all that combination of items causes me to just sweat. That's one question I had. Did it say anything about a correlation of sweat glands being associated with fat cells?
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering about that. Like, the more fat cells, the more sweat glands, if there's some sort of crazy genetic thing that happens there.
I don't know. Maybe that might be another curious question that I'll have for our next show. But yeah, there might be some type of correlation. But for now, I would just think that, that we do have a thick insulation of fat all around us, so it does get us a lot hotter. But I would imagine, I know that it would actually be better as we keep working out, because the fat thickness would just get thinner and thinner. So yeah.
Have is one that actually yesterday when Andy and I were testing out this platform, somebody jumped on. His name was David. I have it here in my notes. David Scott Jones, and somebody called Taz Gumedia, and he was talking about his weight loss and how he had actually lost, I think, 21 or 28 pounds. I can't remember, but he lost weight, and one of the things he mentioned was he didn't drink coffee anymore. And someone like me who has that 12-cup French press, that's just like, whoa, no, I can't possibly not drink my coffee. So it's curious, he was saying that the coffee actually impacted you negatively when you're trying to lose weight because it screws with your metabolism. So I was curious, well, maybe I should look this up and see if there's anything to it. When I looked it up, it's really interesting because there's different articles. There's a bunch of articles that say, yay, yes, it does screw up your metabolism, it's bad for you. There's a bunch of articles that say, no, it's actually good for you. It does good stuff like reduces pancreatic diabetes, Parkinson's disease, or colon cancer. And then there's ones that say, it speeds up your metabolism incorrectly. And I was thinking, well, speed up your metabolism doesn't sound like a bad thing. But I was thinking, your body does go into starvation mode, and when it starts going into starvation mode, it starts to save energy. And so maybe coffee's triggering some sort of artificial, if I'm making any sense here, some sort of starvation mode, which actually impacts your metabolism negatively. So drinking coffee, you're speeding up and you're burning calories, but then it immediately starts going into this mode where it's like, I have to preserve all my fat cells now because You know what I'm saying?
So you're actually going to stop drinking coffee from today?
Not exactly today. I think tomorrow. The reason why it's today and not today is because I did order some yerba mate. It's supposed to show up at my doorstep, and I want to try some of it before I have to put it away. But yerba mate, I looked on Wikipedia. It actually said that it had caffeine in it too. So, Jane in the audience says that's not coffee. But on Wikipedia, it said that it did actually have caffeine in it, and so the caffeine is the negative part of it. So I'm going to see, and I've done this before to test myself. I actually went about 3 months without coffee, and I never really thought about it, but it might have impacted my weight loss. So I'm going to go for the month of August, starting tomorrow, to not drink coffee and see if I actually can get some weight off. And if so, then that might be one of the factors that was keeping me from losing weight.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in a month, starting tomorrow, when you stop drinking coffee.
I weigh like 12 pounds. A Wikipedia article said that, this is Wikipedia, but it's probably pretty factual, that decaf coffee actually has more caffeine in it than chocolate. So chocolate actually does not have that much caffeine in it. So is that...
Yeah, Jang is saying in the comment about a cake, and it has both coffee and sugar.
I didn't realize it had coffee in it. I think that's why I like it. I thought it was just a powdered sugar element, or powdered cocoa element. Yeah, it doesn't help my diet. Jane was saying, doesn't help my diet. Tiramisu cake.
Yeah.
No, shouldn't be eating that. Although it is one of my favorites.
Here, I think my next curious question is, how does lack of sleep affect your diet and health? Because I know Jang has very few hours of sleep per night, so that will be interesting to research.
Yeah, because sometimes I see tweets at like 4 in the morning, and I'm like, well, maybe that is that Jane or is that a robot? And you're looking like, oh, that's actually Jane. It's not a robot. So, and then I'm kind of being honest here because I'm like, oh, I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning, so it's sleep affecting my diet too. So that'd be interesting. I'd be very curious what your results are on that.